The enigmatic incident of American Airlines Flight 875 introduction. A routine flight turns unusual on August 14, 2019. American Airlines Flight 875, a Boeing 777-200ER, took off from Los Angeles International Airport, LAX, bound for John F. Kennedy International Airport, JFK, in New York. With 241 passengers and 12 crew members, it was scheduled for a smooth 5-hour flight across the United States. The two pilots, Captain Robert Collins, 58, and First Officer James Turner, 45, were highly experienced, with over 25,000 combined flight hours. Everything about the departure was normal, until the aircraft reached 35,000 feet over Kansas. What followed was a series of unexplainable events that baffled aviation experts and investigators. A smooth takeoff at 8:30 a.m., Flight 875 departed LAX under clear skies. The Boeing 777, known for its reliability, smoothly ascended to its cruising altitude. The first hour of the flight was uneventful. Passengers enjoyed breakfast, some watched movies, and others relaxed. The aircraft was set to follow a standard flight path over the Midwest before descending into New York. But at 10:15 a.m., things started to go wrong. A sudden jolt and electrical anomalies just over Kansas. Passengers felt a powerful jolt, as if something had hit the plane. The aircraft shuddered violently for 3 seconds, enough to make flight attendants stumble. In the cockpit, Captain Collins and First Officer Turner checked their instruments. No engine failure. No turbulence warnings. No pressure loss. Yet, something felt wrong. Then, without warning, several warning lights on the cockpit panel flashed red, yet none indicated a specific failure. At the same time, passengers in row 17, near the wing, noticed something strange, a metallic, disc-shaped object hovering briefly before vanishing into thin air. Meanwhile, in the cockpit, the pilots received a call from Air Traffic Control, ATC. "You have an unidentified object on your tail." At 10:20 a.m., Chicago Center contacted Flight 875. American 875, be advised, there is an unknown object near your position. Can you confirm visual? The pilots immediately looked outside. Nothing. However, the aircraft's radar showed a fast-moving blip, an object trailing Flight 875 at an unusual speed, but not transmitting any signals. This was highly unusual. All aircraft must have transponders for identification. Even military planes responding to emergencies squawk codes. Yet, this object appeared and moved erratically. As Captain Collins responded to ATC, the cockpit screens flickered and the radio filled with static interference. Then things escalated. Send the aircraft loses control without warning. Flight 875's autopilot disengaged itself. The aircraft suddenly pitched downward, plunging 5,000 feet in a matter of seconds. Passengers screamed as flight attendants gripped seats for support. The seatbelt sign illuminated, and the aircraft tilted dangerously to the right. Captain Collins gripped the controls. "Pull up! Pull up!" he shouted as alarms blared. The pilots fought to stabilize the aircraft manually, but something unseen was affecting the plane. It felt as if an external force was pulling it downward. At that moment, passengers on the left side saw the metallic object reappear, moving parallel to the aircraft before shooting straight up at an impossible speed. The moment it disappeared, Flight 875 regained stability. The cockpit alarms were silenced, and the controls became responsive again. Yet, the radar screens were still blank, as if whatever had interfered had also erased all traces of the object. Emergency diversion to Chicago. Shaken by what had just happened, Captain Collins made a critical decision: divert the flight to Chicago O'Hare, ORD. Declare an emergency. Land as soon as possible. Passengers were alerted that the flight was making an unscheduled landing. Flight attendants secured the cabin as they prepared for the approach. As the aircraft descended toward Chicago, an eerie silence filled the cabin. The same passengers who had seen the mysterious object whispered among themselves. Then, as mysteriously as it started, everything returned to normal. The warning lights disappeared. Cockpit instruments functioned normally. ATC communications were restored. At 11:25 a.m., Flight 875 landed safely in Chicago, where emergency crews surrounded the aircraft, expecting visible damage, but there was none. The investigation and unanswered questions the FAA, Federal Aviation Administration, and NTSB, National Transportation Safety Board, immediately launched an investigation. Radar logs confirmed an unknown object had followed Flight 875. However, the object left no trace and disappeared before fighter jets could scramble. The cockpit voice recorder captured interference, but the data was corrupted in the critical moments of the incident. Passengers and crew gave multiple statements. Some believed it was a military experiment gone wrong. Others suggested a foreign aircraft with advanced technology. A few even claimed it was something not from this world. The final report classified the event as an unexplained aerial phenomenon, UAP. No official cause was determined, and the case was quietly closed. To this day, Flight 875 remains one of the most mysterious incidents in modern aviation history. FAA investigation left unanswered questions despite an extensive investigation by the FAA, Federal Aviation Administration, and NTSB, National Transportation Safety Board. No definitive explanation was ever provided for the strange events that unfolded aboard American Airlines Flight 875. The official reports acknowledged the incident but failed to attribute it to any known mechanical failure, whether anomaly or air traffic conflict. Radar logs from multiple stations confirmed the presence of an unidentified object that followed the aircraft for several minutes before vanishing without a trace. However, military and intelligence agencies denied any knowledge of a classified aircraft operating in the area. Compounding the mystery, the cockpit voice recorder, CVR, and flight data recorder, FDR, also known as the black boxes, contained corrupted audio and missing data precisely during the moments of greatest interference. Despite forensic analysis, investigators could not recover the lost information or determine what caused the malfunction. Furthermore, although passengers and crew reported witnessing an unusual metallic object maneuvering at impossible speeds, no external damage was found on the Boeing 777, nor did maintenance crews uncover any signs of a technical issue. Without physical evidence or a conclusive cause, the FAA quietly classified the incident as an unexplained aerial phenomenon, UAP, and closed the case. To this day, Flight 875 remains one of the most puzzling and controversial incidents in modern aviation history, leaving pilots, passengers, and experts alike with more questions than answers.